Today, I want to share some thoughts on mental health. It's something we all have, just like physical health, but it's not always easy to talk about. I'm not here to give you all the answers, that would be impossible. But let's look at some of the basics, the things we all deal with, and some ideas that might help. So, what is mental health? It's really about how our mind deals with the world. And here's the thing, everyone, and I mean everyone, has some level of anxiety, sadness, even anger or confusion. The difference? It's just how severe it is for each of us. 1. Common mental health struggles. When people hear the term mental health, they often think of disorders like depression or anxiety. Those are part of it. But there are others too, like obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, bipolar disorder, and even personality disorders. The truth is, most of us have a little bit of each. We're all a mix of different mental experiences. It's not so much about having or not having these issues, it's more about how much of them we experience. 2. Everyone has a bit of everything. Think about it. You might not have clinical depression, but everyone knows what it feels like to be down. Maybe you're not diagnosed with anxiety, but we all get nervous or overwhelmed sometimes. It's the severity and how it impacts your life that makes the difference. Alain de Botton from the School of Life talks about how life is inherently filled with disappointment, uncertainty, and struggle. His take is that we often expect too much, happiness all the time, perfect mental health, when the reality is more about managing these things. 3. Techniques for managing mental health. Let's talk about a couple of approaches that might help. These aren't quick fixes, but more like ways to work with the way our minds function. Gestalt therapy. One approach is Gestalt therapy, which emphasizes being aware of the present moment. It's about integrating different parts of ourselves, the parts that are anxious, the parts that feel lost, and bringing them together. The idea is that by acknowledging all these parts, we can find some balance. Jung's Schema therapy, which was developed by Jeffrey Young. It's a bit like identifying patterns, or schemas, in your life that keep repeating. Maybe it's the belief that you're not good enough or the fear of failure. The goal is to recognize these patterns and gradually change them. It's slow, but over time, it helps you break free from old, unhealthy habits. 4. The philosophy of Alain de Botton. I find Alain de Botton's outlook comforting in a way. He talks a lot about accepting life's imperfections, the fact that we're going to feel sad, frustrated, or even lost sometimes. It's not that we're broken for feeling this way. It's more that the human condition is messy. De Botton often emphasizes what he calls philosophical pessimism. It's not about being negative for the sake of it, but more about accepting that life is full of hardship, and that's normal. When we accept this, we can stop fighting against it so much and focus on what we can control. What can we do, right now, to start managing our mental health better? First, just being aware of how you feel, noticing when you're feeling anxious or upset, without judging yourself for it. This is something we learn from Gestalt therapy. Instead of pushing feelings away, we acknowledge them. Recognizing patterns. Second, think about the patterns in your life. Are there situations where you always feel the same way, like feeling inadequate or like you failed? This comes from Schema therapy, where you start noticing the repeating beliefs that might not even be true. And finally, maybe we can lower our expectations a little, on ourselves or on others. That doesn't mean giving up or not trying, but as Alain de Botton suggests, it's about recognizing that life isn't meant to be perfect. When we stop demanding perfection, we can give ourselves a bit more space to breathe. When it's time to seek help. And if things get too hard, don't hesitate to ask for help. Whether it's talking to a friend or reaching out to a therapist, sometimes we need someone to help us make sense of it all. You don't have to carry everything by yourself. Mental health isn't something we fix overnight, and it's not something we perfect. It's about learning to live with all the different parts of ourselves and accepting that life comes with ups and downs. And that's okay. Thanks for spending some time with me today. If you found this helpful, feel free to subscribe or leave a comment. Take care.